Hey everyone, my name is Zach, and as you can see, I've got a bit of a problem. Now, it's been almost a year since I did my last Pile of Shame update, and honestly, we were looking much better at the start of the year, but as you can see, things have blown out just a wee little bit. So today I'm going to be running you through everything that I have bought this year, everything that is left on my Pile of Shame, and sort of the intentions that I have for every single thing here. This will be a little bit of a long video, so make sure you grab a drink and a snack, and let's jump straight into it. Now, there is no real method to my madness going through this, but I do just want to talk about basically everything that's happened this year and why my Pile of Shame has blown out. Now, I'll probably just start with the stuff closest to me so we can move that out of the way and then go from there. As you can see, unfortunately this camera will be slightly in the frame, but it's just the way that I have to set it up because I am in my kitchen right now. It's the only place that I have enough space to display all of this Warhammer goodness. Now, starting off with the 2 boxes in front of me, actually 3 that it is, these guys are all fantasy kits that I bought in a massive lot. I originally intended to paint up a couple of them and just sell off the models that I didn't want, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do these guys. Now, these are absolutely wonderful kits, and they are somewhat rare. They do come with metal components in them, and I was super psyched to paint them, especially these Orc boys. But due to time constraints and the fact that I'm starting a 40k army, or a Grot army to be specific, I probably won't have time for these guys. So in front of me, I do have some Dwarf Warriors Regiment. I'm pretty sure every single piece is in this one. Absolutely immaculate kit. And I do have a little bit of a soft spot for dwarves. They're just beautiful little models. And like these guys just really hold up to the nostalgia of Warhammer. They were, fortunately enough, or unfortunately enough, before my time. So I don't really have a bunch of nostalgia for the kits. I just kind of picked them up for the sake that they were really cool. And I had every intent to paint them, like all good projects start. But unfortunately, they have fallen by the wayside. And I am pursuing other goals right now that I will be sticking to, because I am making a massive promise. I will not be buying a single other Warhammer kit until every single one of these are done. So yes, we also have the Orc Warriors Regiment, basically the same thing as your dwarves. Now these guys are really cool. They come with all these neat weapons and things, but unfortunately just will not be able to paint them. So I'm most likely going to sell these along with a couple of other things that are in the kit, which I'll show you right now. So we've got the Dwarf Warriors and the Orcs. We do also have this beautiful Skeleton Warriors Regiment, and just something about these old GW skeletons just really makes me want to paint them since they look so kooky. And I mean, there's already a guy in here with an eyeballs kind of sticking out, and it's just got that classic nostalgic Warhammer feel. But unfortunately, this guy as well will also be sold, hopefully. Now, sticking with the fantasy theme, I do actually have a few more things in this big box next to me. I have this. This is the old Warhammer Magic expansion, and in all honesty, it just came with the lot. I have no idea what to do with this, but it's got like a bunch of cards and things inside of it, all the old rule books, and it's nearly complete. It also includes some superior rubber bands from what I believe is the 80s or the 90s, and fortunately enough, they're still holding up, so this will be sold. And the lucky person who ever buys it will be getting some vintage rubber bands. So if you're a rubber band collector, make sure you keep an eye out for this bad boy on Facebook Marketplace. There is also a bunch of metal models, and I'm just going to quickly move these guys out of the way for a sec, just so that we can get a better angle on them. Now, I've organized these sort of into bags, and I'm most likely going to sell all the old kits that I have as maybe like little mini sets, because there are a few models that don't quite fit in. Now, in this bag here, if you can see on the camera, all of these are just random Beastmen from the pack. Now, I do have a Chaos Army, and I contemplated keeping these for myself, but I just don't see myself painting them up anytime soon, and I think that would be better off in a collector's collection that would definitely appreciate them. So, fortunately enough, these guys are going. Next up, we do also have, I'm not going to stick on it too far, the skeletons that came in that box. I do believe these are just the built ones from the regiment that the guy I bought them off had done, so they're just going to most likely go with everything else. I do also have a couple of goblin characters and sort of orc characters as well. Now, these guys are all metal, and as much as I know that you can split them all up, you probably make a little bit more money off them. I honestly just want them gone, and I want them to be in a collector's hands that is going to appreciate them, and hopefully paint them, because I sure won't. There is also these archers, which I'm actually not too sure where they come from. I know they're Warhammer models, but I just assume they're from some sort of starter set or something. Because there's only, I think it's 5 or 6 of them in this bag, and they're definitely just kind of miscellaneous things. So they will also be getting sold. Next up, we've got some dwarf models. Now, the majority of the ones in this, the guy from the looks of it had a sort of semi-decent dwarf army. Not only had he bought the initial, the regiment of dwarves, he also had a couple of characters and these like little cannon things, which were very, very cool. But unfortunately, like all the other stuff in this box, I'm most likely going to sell those as just a little bit of a set so that they're all gone, and again, someone can appreciate them. Now, contrary to everything else, there is actually some stuff that I am keeping from this box because it's stuff that's sort of near and dear to my heart. And that's this little bag here. Inside of it is a fully complete, what I assume is the original Bloodthirster that they designed back in the day. There is also a couple of Chaos Knights as well, which is really, really cool to see. I'll most likely do a bunch of extra footage and everything just so I can, you know, show you guys in detail. There is also a random, I assume, Empire Wizard character. I'm not quite sure where he comes from, but I absolutely adore painting wizards of all things, and I figured that I would keep him because he's sort of a fun little wacky guy. And I'm kind of inspired by people like, I think it's Anvil of Doom over on TikTok who paints old models. And he painted something very similar to that, and that's why I kind of want to paint one myself and see if I can jazz it up or bring it up to like a new sort of modern style. Alrighty, sticking with the theme of metal models, I do also have these Infinity Chakram Chaksa long arms, which are really cool models. I do fully intend to paint these guys. They actually were bought on clearance at my local game shop, and I kind of just wanted them because one, they look really, really cool, and two, they're metal models, and personally, I absolutely adore painting metal models. Now, I'm most likely going to do box art on these guys. They are one of the models that I sort of bought with the intent of kind of challenging myself to paint. They've got a lot of white and blues and very smooth transitions, so I definitely plan on painting these guys up. Because they look super, super cool, and I just love painting some stuff that's not Warhammer. Alright, I'm just trying to clear a little bit of space around me, but next up I'm going to talk about these two bad boys. I bought not only Hero Quest, I also bought Kellar's Keep, which is a fun little game, and I am yet to play it because I want to paint everything before I do it. Now, there's not a lot of models in there specifically, but there is a lot of furniture and kind of terrain for them. Kellar's Keep is very easy to paint up, so I may or may not jump onto this one in the new year because I would love to get a couple of games of Hero Quest in. My roommate's interested in playing, and then we also have a brand new roommate moving in at the end of this month. So it's a good opportunity to sort of get a few more people into it and have a little bit of fun. Yes, there is a bunch of models between these two. There is nearly 70 models plus, maybe more if I remember correctly. But I have full intention of painting both of these because I love board games, and I love board games with miniatures specifically, and I would definitely love to have like a fully painted set of board game miniatures. It won't mean much to many other people, but to me it will be very special. I'm knocking everything over. So yeah, that's definitely something that I would love to do because yes, near and dear to my heart. Alrighty, next up we do also have this Rhino kit that I bought. Now this I actually bought not with the intent of building it and painting it for my army. I actually bought it as a way of making STLs. Now, I had a bit of a problem is I wanted to put custom doors on my rhinos and even create my own sets to sell if people were, you know, like obscure chapters and things. So I never actually had any intent of building this whatsoever. I was mostly just going to keep it parted out, which I most likely still will do because, I mean, eventually I would love to release my own custom doors and things for rhinos and that kind of stuff. But for the time being, this bad boy is probably going to stay in the box, not getting sold, not getting built. He's just kind of going to work himself into Warhammer limbo and then hope that one day he escapes. Now moving on to another big set. Believe it or not, this is not the same starter set that I had at the start of this year. Believe it or not, this right here, believe it or not, is actually not the same set that I had in the last channel's video. This is actually a brand new one that I was bought by my beautiful partner Z for Christmas last year, and I have actually gotten around to painting a couple of models in it. Now I've done the Terminator Captain, I do believe, the Librarian, and I think a couple of the Terminators. I've basically been using this entire kit as a way of kit bashing other legions. You might have seen a couple of videos that I've released on the channel. I did the Girlfriend Chooses by Paint Scheme. That's where I used the Librarian. I then also did 2 videos, one for the Car Carry-ons a couple of months ago, and then one for the Salamanders a few months before that. So this box set, I do plan on adding all of the Tyranids to my army, which will be a project or a video very, very soon, hopefully. It's just a matter of building them. I hate building models, that's the one thing, and these guys are all push fit, which kind of make it a little bit harder. Yes, I have full intent of painting this one, especially the Tyranids, because I really want to bulk out my Tyranid army, and then once this is gone, and hopefully everything else by the end of next year, I'll be able to really focus on some of the cooler units and kind of cherry pick the stuff that I want. But for the time being, this guy's going to sit in the storage and we'll hopefully get to him within the new year. Alright, now I'm just going to leave the Ogre stuff till last because there is actually a little bit of a plan for that, and you'll hopefully see or hear more about that soon. But next up is this box of stuff here. If you want to see a full deep dive through it, I did actually make a video on this entire thing a couple of months ago, where I started my own Fantasy Chaos army, and I have literally only painted the 20 miniatures that I did for that video, and everything else is sitting in this box. Oh, which also reminds me, on top of everything, there is also this Slaughter Brute. Now, I have no idea if any of this is in focus on my camera over here, but I do have a Slaughter Brute. And this is one of my favorite models ever, and I don't actually plan on making a video on it. I mean, I might if the urge strikes, but for the most part, I just intend on having this guy painted up like the box art, because hands down, this is probably my favorite model Warhammer have ever released. And unfortunately, you can no longer get them in Australia. I actually had to buy this secondhand from one of my friends up north, and I'm very, very glad. I gave him a shout out in the unboxing video for this, so massive thanks to Craig. I still haven't painted everything like I said I would, but I have good intentions. I will hopefully get these done eventually. But this is my labor of love project, so in all honesty, I do not mind if this army takes me a little bit longer, even if we do not get it finished by the end of next year. I definitely want to give it the time and love it deserves, because this is my passion. This is my first ever army that I collected, and I really want to do it justice. So all of this will be getting kept and painted. Alrighty, there is so much to choose from. I'm thinking I'm probably going to go with this bag right here. Now, this bag is very loud. This right here is actually a Titan from Soul White Studios, and I'll leave a picture of exactly what it looks like. But long story short, I have full intent of making a video for this. If you want to check out any of the projects that I do mention and where they are up in the stages of like filming, editing, recording and all that, I will also leave a link to both my Pilot Potential and Trello. Trello is where you can track all the videos that I make. I update them sort of semi-regularly. I do need to get back in the habit of doing that though, because as you can see, uploads have been a little bit slow over the past couple of months, just with work and everything that's been going on. And unfortunately, I was sick for a couple of months, very, very sick. But I am back now, and hopefully we can get into it and really smash some stuff out. But I won't go too far into this. It's mostly just random assorted pieces. So, and I will admit, the model prints up beautifully. Now these, all the parts in this one are actually printed on FDM, with the exception of a couple panels and that kind of stuff, because I wanted the main framework to be sort of nice and sturdy, and then for all the detailed parts, I just printed them in resin, because I kind of care about the layer lines on these, whereas if you're doing big components like bodies and that kind of stuff, it doesn't really matter if they have a couple layer lines, because at the end of the day, they will be covered up by those, fancy panels and everything. So yes, this is a project that will be worked on and have a video behind it. I have actually started recording this. I just haven't gotten around to painting and building it because I need to reprint all the pistons, which unfortunately failed for whatever reason. Alrighty, next up is I'll call this the labor of love box, because there's a few important projects in here that I have not yet done. Now, we'll start with this. These are a couple of weapons off of a Warlord Titan from Adeptus Titanicus. And as you can see, they're mostly painted. They've got a little bit of silver, a little bit of red on there. With my scheme, I use a blue and purple scheme, so I actually undercut everything in a red, just so I can get a nice gradient and everything. Now, the Warlord is actually out there. I can't be bothered going and grabbing him, but here's his weapons to prove that I do have one, and that he has been sitting in my pile, I do believe for nearly 2 years now. I think I bought him back when I was living up north, and yeah, never got around to actually painting him since he was a lot of parts. Now you can also see from the sea of blue that is in here, there is 45 Space Marines. Now these guys are actually for a project that I was going to do where basically I challenged myself to sort of paint these guys in under 24 hours, if not to see how long it would actually take me to paint them. And I kind of scrapped that project because first and foremost, it kind of tired me out. Painting 45 Space Marines, even though I just had done only the airbrushing, was a massive challenge. But if you guys really want to see that, let me know, because I was kind of burnt out on it. But maybe having a couple months off may or may not have changed my mind. So if you do want to see me paint 45 Space Marines in one session / one video, I'll leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys are excited for. Now, along with this box, there's also a couple things. I have Marty's Calgar and his Honor Guard, which I was originally intending to make a video on, and there's still footage and everything up until this point that I had them painted to, but I just kind of lost motivation, and I wanted to take my time on these, and the 1 week time constraint that I had on my videos was very rough, so I sort of gave up on it. But I wouldn't mind just painting these in my free time just to get them off and, you know, finally have Marnius join my Ultramarines army, because believe it or not, I've been collecting Space Marines since I think 2016, 2017, and I have never built or painted a named character for them. I have Marnius Calgar and Rabute Gilliman now, but unfortunately both of them remain unpainted in my pile. Although Marnius is very, very close to being done, it's just a lot of base coats and highlights and stuff left. So he may or may not be one of the first projects I jump into in 2025. Next up, we also had this awesome Turn Up 28 cannon that I built. I had an absolute blast with this thing, and I really appreciate being sent the files for that video. Now, I actually don't know how I'm going to paint this because it's such a unique model, and I did just break one of the fish off. Might have to do some makeshift repairs. But yeah, this was a very, very fun model to kit bash, and I do kind of want to paint him on a video, but I'm not sure when I'll get around to that. Like, I do understand that there is a new Turn Up 28 campaign coming out, so maybe now's the time. Or even possibly turn him into like a Trench Crusade model. That may be fun. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what I want to do this. I do want to paint him, but I don't know if I'm going to dedicate a video to him. Now, next up, we do also have Rabute Gilliman himself. Very plain and simple. I'm going to be painting him. I need the primer for my Ultramarines, obviously. He's just base coated. I haven't had the pleasure of painting all that trim yet, fortunately enough. For other things in this box, I do also have a bunch of goblins. These guys aren't on my pile of potential, just because I started painting these and I sort of gave up on them around the same time that my airbrush died. I don't know if you can see on the camera there, but there are very slight red gradients on them, because I sort of paint these in the same style as Craftworld Studios. If you guys don't know them, they do very colorful paint jobs. They start off on from a colored base coat instead of like a black or white, and I really am inspired by the way that they do things. And unfortunately enough, it's going to take me a long time to paint these, but these guys I have full intent of painting since they're really fun, and I just love goblins and orcs. It tickles a very specific itch in my brain. Now, the other thing that I have here is the final model for the Girlfriend Chooses My Paint Scheme series. It is one of the Galliplox Infected. I can't exactly remember what his name is, but I have the starting footage for all of this ready to go. I don't have it edited yet, but I have been sitting on that video for I think nearly a year now, so I definitely should get it out, but it's just a matter of painting this little guy here. And yeah, I think I might do that in the new year, just because I really want to get the Galliplox Infected done. I have been putting my blood, sweat, and tears into that entire kill team, and I think it would be fitting to finish them in 2025 amongst all of our other projects. Now, there is also a couple of random things. I've got another guy from the kill team, the Galliplox. He's just going to be painted up, just regular kind of little guy. I am sort of painting my Galliplox Infected sort of very bright and different, sort of doing different paint schemes and styles for every single model. Essentially, I didn't intend it, but it's now looking like some sort of 80s punk rock band, and I'm kind of all for it. So as I've been painting more and more of the models, I had kind of been leaning into that kind of vibrant rock sort of crazy aesthetic. So, yeah, and have been having an absolute blast with it. But that kind of sums up that. There is a couple of core models in here, which I won't go on about. I think I just kind of threw these in because I was doing test prints on them. There is a little tractor guy, a little maintenance dude. Those guys I don't contribute to my pile of potential, just for the fact that, yeah, they're more or less test prints than anything, not actual models that I intend on building and painting. That also is a Uber tray that I designed for Marnius and his Honor Guard as well. Yeah, just a little something I designed. I had a bunch of fun with it, and it's kind of cool because they stay within their, I can't remember what the distance is called, engagement distance or unit distance. and you can just move them up really easily. So that's kind of why I designed that. If you guys want to check this out, I will leave the link as well in the description. There's going to be a bunch of links in the description. Make sure you check them all out to the free version of this tray that I released. It fits 5 Space Marines, I do believe. And yeah, it's a fun little project if you want to print it out and, you know, get a free movement tray. Now that's all done and dusted. Now next up we have this box of assorted things. Now for the most part there is just kind of some random stuff in there. I have a Primus Redoubt, which is an old Warhammer piece of terrain that was made by Forge World, I do believe. And this bloody thing is freaking hard to find. I searched a very long time for this, solely for the fact that I do want to put it on a Titan. I saw a conversion ages and ages ago of someone who had one of these on top of a Titan, and I thought that looks incredible. I really, really want to try that. So I'm definitely going to be painting that up. It's very simple, just got to do the panels the same color as my Adeptus Titanicus ones, and then yeah, that'll be a nice little addition. We do also have the Ferrum Battle Automata. I cannot ever remember this guy's name. Dominator class Iron Circle dude. I built this guy on a live stream and I do have full intention of painting him. I just got to figure out how to do his silvers and everything, but he is also in the pile of shame. Beautiful model though. I've always wanted one of these, and now that I have big adult boy money, I definitely can. So yes, very excited to get some paint on him. Now we're just gonna kind of rapid fire the rest of the stuff in this this box. These are 5 Space Marines that actually, so when I bought those other 45, it actually came with 50 of them, and these 5 guys here are sort of in rough enough condition for me to need to get new parts for them. So technically it's 50 models that I haven't painted, but these guys are just kind of in repair mode. Next up we also have some, believe it or not, Malifaux. I have the Brewmaster's Core set, I do believe, the one with the Ninja Goblins. And I don't know if you can tell, I will have no idea until I'm editing this whether or not this is actually in focus. But there is a bunch of little goblin characters, I do believe there's 6 all up, and I have done custom bases for them that are swamped theme and had an absolute blast with it. It's super easy to paint. These guys I just contrast paint. I originally started display painting them, but for the most part I just started chucking a bunch of contrast on them, getting them done, because I would like to play some Malifaux, but unfortunately a new edition just released, so I gotta get back into it and read all the rules again, but that's not too much of a problem. Now, also digging through this, I don't believe there is any more models. There is some other basing stuff. All this stuff in here is just bits and a little bit of chain as well. It's kind of a mishmash of everything. Mishmash. Love that. I love that channel. So yeah, that's all that is in there. It's kind of because I did clear my desk and this all came off it. My desk was an absolute mess before this video, but I figured I'd organize everything, get it tallied up, share my shame with you guys, and then hopefully conquer it next year. Now, I do believe that that is almost it for the old projects. Now, everything that I'm going to be showing you now is actually what I got for my birthday recently. For those who don't know, my birthday is on the 19th of November, and I decided to start an ogre army. But I can actually tell in here there is a couple more models that I did mention. But yes, I do have an ogre army that I am starting, and I have gone balls to the wall with it. I have bought a bunch of stone horns, a bunch of cannons, a bunch of troops and everything, because I want my army to feel like it is very cohesive and not just, you know, chaff units. So like, the biggest problem that I had with a lot of my armies is growing up, unfortunately, I wasn't able to afford the big bad units. The majority of the models that I bought were honestly just troops and that sort of stuff. I could never have the money to afford the big bad units. But that changes with my ogre army. I do believe 3 or 4 Stonehorns / Thunder Tusks, which I am just over the moon and so excited to build. I do believe it's 3 because I have 2 sitting in front of me, and I think that this little pile of sprues here is some, Mournfang and a Thunder Tusk kit. Before I do that though, I'm just going to quickly rattle through these. There's a couple things in this box. We have a Maid Marine Dreadnought, which I have full intent of painting. I originally was going with the tea drinker scheme, but I may switch over back to the traditional pink because, yeah, I find it very hard to paint black, and although I love the tea drinkers and having an army that's slightly different, yeah, black is a very, very big pain in the butt. Also going through here, there is also a random statue. I actually painted a bunch of these up before for, they're just little terrain pieces. They're just statues I found online. And honestly, like, gorgeous models. I'm very glad that I bought them. They make fantastic terrain, but unfortunately, I did miss this guy. I thought I got all of them when I painted them, but I'll have to quickly whip that one out. I love painting terrain. Super duper easy. You are an ogre. There is also these 3 depth shell crawlers from Mezgeek. These are for my depth guard, or I can't remember what they call the army for Mezgeeks, like Nurgle guys. Yes, I plan on painting at least one of these in a video. I might whip the other 2 out just in my own time for the sake of getting them done and dusted, because I absolutely adore my Nurgle King. I took a lot of inspiration from Eons of Battle. There is also beating bits for the Tyranids, which you will see in that video when it comes out. We're going for a little bit of a jungle theme. Yes, I'm very inspired by Eons of Battle in a lot of the things that I do. I absolutely adore Jay and all of the enthusiasm that he has for Warhammer, and I see a lot of myself in him. And when I saw his Death Guard army and how fancy and complicated he painted it, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to copy exactly what he did and do it my own scheme. So I've gone with a little bit of a complicated scheme, but you can check out my video, which I'll leave probably in the card up above. Yeah, I wanted to make an army that looked very, very nice, but with a scheme that was easily replicatable. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to sit there and slog through millions of hours of painting just to get an army that looks pretty good. I wanted to make a scheme that is easy to replicate and one that I can have a lot of fun with. And fortunately enough, I have done that with these guys. They pop, they look amazing. It's just I got to add some more units to the armies in amongst all my free time. Next up, just one last non-ogre thing before I get through it. I know I said I'm got to jump from my ogres, but it's just an Apothecarian. It's the little yellow guy from the Apothecarian detachment. And as you can see, I actually started painting him a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday that I started painting him, and my golly gosh, was it fun. I know I'm a liar, I keep finding new things. That's how much Warhammer I have, is too much. This box here is a bunch of assorted things. It's mostly a bunch of characters that I bought recently, just fun little projects that I wanted to do. I have the Forge World Black Orc Big Boss. There is also Orican the Diviner, Imitek the Stormlord. There is a new Chaos Lord. There is also Golgfag Maneater for my Ogre's army. And Ultramarines Contemptor Dreadnought that I got, as well as a couple of Mournfang that I built this week. This is kind of a mix mash of a bunch of different characters. I want to flesh out my Necron army with a couple of captains, hence why I bought Imitek and then Orican. And then I absolutely adore the new Chaos Lord. I think he is absolutely stunning. That's why I bought him, because I also haven't painted a Chaos model specifically for my Chaos Space Marines in a very, very long time. So I figured I'd add him since he's super cool and new, and I get FOMO very easily. Now, speaking of, this actually is the part where I start talking about my Ogre army. As I said just before, I did have my 25th birthday. I'm a quarter of a century old now, and decided to treat myself to a new army. And when I say new army, I mean go ham on an army. So as I mentioned before, there is a couple of Mournfang and a Stonefang / leader in here, which is super, super cool. I want to have a lot of big guys on cavalry and like the really fancy units that just look super, super awesome. So my army will look fantastic. Now on this box here, I do also have an Iron Blaster, a Stonehorn. I keep calling them. Was I calling him a Mournfang? And then just the guys that go on him. And also, the guy that sold me the models actually included a Blood Bowl guy for whatever reason. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. I don't know how I'm going to fit him in the army, but I mean, we'll just call him an ogre football eater or something. The ogres love eating random things. Next up, we also do have a Metal Hunter and a Metal Yeti. I specifically bought these just because they were metal. The Yeti was 10 bucks, believe it or not. The guy genuinely just wanted to get rid of it. He's like, do you want it for 25? I was like, nah, man, I'm done with the Yeti. Because he did shave its little mane off. And he's like, honestly, man, 10 bucks, do you want it? I was like, twist my arm, I'll go for it. So I do also have a Yeti to paint now. And then I can't remember if he's basically a hunter. He's the saber-toothed tiger guy. And he does have a different belt thingy in the middle. The main guy actually has like a massive skull, but this guy has like a little saber-tooth type thing, which I'm actually not quite sure where he got it from. So if you guys know, let me know in the description, in the comments down below, because yeah, I'd love to know where that came from. Maybe an old metal saber kit. Who knows? We'd also have another Thunder Tusk, or I should say a Thunder Tusk. Since I've got a bunch of Stone Horns, or I had a Stone Horn already, I figured I'd make a Thunder Tusk, because if I'm going to build the big models of the kits, you want to make sure that you at least get a little bit of variety. So I've got him, and then I've got the couple of things. Now I am building him a little bit differently. I don't intend to play with my ogre army. I just want it as like a bit of a display piece. So I have also kit bashed the guys. I've got the guy with the vulture and then the dude with the massive crossbow. I intend to have them sort of sitting like this. Sorry camera if this is out of focus, but you'll get the general gist. And just have this in the back so it looks nice and bulky. I have no idea what he would count as in-game. I guess we can just, he doesn't have to be WYSIWYG, I guess. But I just want to have a little fun with him and sort of make the army my own. And I have done these guys. Now this kit right here is a little bit near and dear to my heart. For my birthday this year, Mum and Dad got me this bad boy. And I have gotten Warhammer from there before, but never have I gotten such a fantastic little kit. The fact that they actually found one, I was sort of surprised by and very, very happy. And that's why I have full intent of painting this army, and which I actually am right now. I'm in the process of adding everything together. I am actually recording it as we speak. So yeah, I'm very excited to get this all done and dusted because the ogre army sort of was one of the first armies that I really painted to a nice standard. And I think it was my big army for Age of Sigmar when that first came out, because I converted everything over ramp bases and yeah, had a ball with it, but never had the big units. I only had like the shitty chaff units. So yes, I absolutely adore this little spearhead kit here, and I'm very excited to get into it because it is a gift from my parents. So yes, very excited. Next up we have, believe it or not, the last of the ogres. Since I had a little bit of extra funds around the birthday time, I went ahead and bought some secondhand units to really flesh everything out. And I've just got a bunch of lead belchers and gluttons here. Believe it or not, I don't believe, unless this kit comes with it, which I don't think they do, I don't own a single iron gut, which I won't be able to own one for a while, obviously, because I'm going to have to paint all of this up. But I do intend on, once I've got all this done and all of this, is just adding a unit of iron guts, so that at least I have sort of full coverage over everything with the elites. But there is a bunch of gluttons on here which are super well built, and actually I didn't have to undercoat too aggressively. There is also a random Gorger here, which, may I say, I think I prefer the old Gorger model, or Gouger, whatever the name of it is, compared to the new ones. Like, the new ones kind of look like white orcs instead of this big grisly kind of deformed creature that just doesn't feel pain and runs around murdering people. Yes, I definitely enjoy the old one. I kind of wish they had kept like that slender look, but I understand why they updated it. And with that, everyone, I do believe that that is my entire pile of shame all gone through. As you can see, I have purchased a hot amount of models. There is a little bit of everything here, there, and everywhere because I love a variety and I cannot stick to one thing. Thank you, mental illness. But yes, as you can see, I cannot stick to one thing, which is okay. It's nice to have a little bit of variety in life. It is the spice of it, as they say. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has gotten this far in the video. I genuinely appreciate you guys watching all the way through. It really helps me out with the channel. And if you just want to say thank you to everyone for getting this far in the video, I genuinely appreciate watching all of this. As you can see, I have sort of blown out my pile of shame a lot, but I do have full intent of painting everything before I move on to buying any more kits, which let's see how that goes by the end of next year. So if you did indeed enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like on it. And if you guys have a favorite project or something that you would like to see me paint first, make sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your suggestions, because at the end of the day, every single one of these models can be a video, and every single one may not be a video, but if there is one particular that you would like to see, make sure you let me know and I'll be sure to jump on it as soon as I can. And if you do like this content and you would like to see a little bit more, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community of hobby heroes. I would love to see your beautiful face join our amazing collective. Now, until next time everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.